are you, my friends? In this video, I'm presenting part number 13 of the series Basic Math Terms, which is about circles. For other videos, please, and parts, you can see the playlist Basic Math Terms. This is part number 13. I'm going to explain some terms about circles, like what is a circle, the radius of a circle, the equation of a circle, and how to find the center and the radius by completing the square. What is the meaning of tangent to a circle? The diameter also, the central angle, the meaning of that, the area of a sector, the circumference. See, number 10 is a long word, circumference of a circle, and then the area of a circle. So there are 11 words we need to explain. Let's start. If we need to define simply a circle, you know, circle, something round, it is a set of all points in the plane that lie a given distance from a given point. So first we have a point fixed here, HK, you see? That's point, we call it the center. So that's the center of the circle. And then the given distance here, we call it a radius. Now remember, the radius is the distance from this center to any point on the circle, and this is one point, XY, representing 1 point on the circle. We know the distance formula, square root, you know this one, x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. This is the distance between. Let's take these 2 points, xy and hk. Hk is a point center. Xy is another point on the circle. Let's find the distance, which is the radius r. So this distance is r, I put here. X2 minus x1, see? X minus h all squared, y minus k all squared. Now, if you square both sides, what do you get? This is the important equation you should remember for a circle. X minus h squared, there is a minus, plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Remember, this is the complete equation of a circle. The center here, hk, so if you have x minus 5, you put 5 here. If you have y plus 7, you put minus 7 here. Because in the formula, we have x minus h squared, y minus k squared is equal r squared. Okay. Now, some circle review. You know, the circle I mentioned before, we have a center here. We have the radius, that's 2 important words. We have a diameter. Diameter, all this. See, diameter, d. D not the same as the distance. You see, diameter is this d, diameter. It is not the same as this d. This d is the distance between any point and the center, which is the radius. So this d in the formula. Now, this d is the diameter. I put here d equals diameter. We know the diameter is 2 times the radius, or r, if you divide by 2, you get r equals d over 2. Because sometimes we have the radius, we need diameter. Sometimes we have diameter, we need radius. So be careful here, because sometimes you multiply by 2 if you have r. But if you have d, you divide by 2 to get r. Now, this is area. Area, this point here, that comes here, the area of a circle, number 11. Different from area of a sector, I will explain later. So area of a circle, this is number 11. Area of a sector, I will explain later. So the area, that means the whole area of the circle, the complete area. The formula, pi r squared. So you take the radius, whatever the radius, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be half, it can be 50, it can be 7.1, any radius. You can just square it. Square it, you multiply it by itself, square it, and then multiply by pi. So this is the area of the circle. Now the circumference is this one here. See, around the circle, circumference. The circumference is around the circle, the distance around the whole circle. We call it capital C. 2 pi r, multiply 2 times the pi times the r. Now we can use this if you like. 2r, see here, 2r is d, so the diameter times the pi. But usually this is easy formula. C equals 2 pi r. Capital A equals pi r squared. Remember this from somewhere in school. Now, tangent to an axis. Sometimes we have a circle here, tangent to the x-axis. Tangent means it touches the x-axis in one point, tangent. See the word tangent to the x-axis. If the circle is tangent to the x, see this is r here. See, r is the absolute value of the k, because this is r, it is related to the y here, not h. So r is absolute value of the k. So if you have the center, then you can find r. R is the absolute value of the k. Same idea here. If we have a circle tangent to the y-axis like this. Now assume this is a circle. So r here, r related to the x, the absolute value of the h. It should be absolute value because sometimes we have h may be minus, k may be minus, maybe plus, maybe 0. So always put absolute value. Now sometimes we have a circle tangent to both x-axis and y-axis. So you can say easy, this is easy, r equals the absolute value of h or the absolute value of the k, because these are the same number. Only we can use this if we say in the question, the circle is tangent to both axes. Okay. Now, one thing about circles, sometimes you see in math, unit circle. This is well-known circle, unit circle. It is very famous. So you can ask anyone, what is a unit circle? It is well-known, it is a circle. The center is 0, 0. So this is h to k, and the radius r is 1. So if you put it in the equation here, remember the equation? So it will be x squared plus y squared is equal to 1. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 1. We call this the equation of unit circle. I can give you 2 more information about unit circle. Unit circle, as any circle, it has some points. If I give you this point, see the ugly point, square root of 3 over 3, comma, square root of 6 over 3. How do you know this point on the circle or outside here somewhere? Easy to check. See, if I give you any point on the graph here, maybe on the graph, maybe outside the graph. So I said, show that here, the point P lies on the unit circle. So easily take this x, square root of 3 over 3 here, you square it. You see that? Because we are using the same equation. Take y and square it, the whole x and the whole y. See, when you square this, it will be 3 over 9. You square this, 6 over 9. When you add, you have the same denominator. 3 plus 6, 9 over 9 is 1. Since the answer is 1, yes, this point lies on the unit circle. This is only to check if a point on the circle or outside the circle. Now, length of circular arc. If you have a circle and there is an angle here, we call it central angle here, this one. This is a central angle. And then you have an circular arc. Simply we say arc. See, this arc here is S, the arc. So S equals the formula, there's a formula, S equals R theta. Now remember, theta should be in radians, not in degrees, because we have angles in degrees, we have angles in radians. If you want to know more, you can see other videos on angles. So if you need the length, see the length here, just need the length, like 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 15 centimeters, or inches or something. Multiply S equals, you know, simple formula, S equals R, the radius, you know the radius, times the theta. But it should be in radians. Now, this is the nice slide actually. We need the area of a sector. This is a sector here. Like when you eat pizza, this is a pizza, piece of a pizza, this one here. Now you can eat maybe 3 or 4 pizzas, and then you can find the area or multiply, or the area of one big. Remember the area for the whole circle I mentioned before, pi r squared. Now if we have a sector, let's know the word sector here. This is a sector. The area will be half r squared, see r here, you square it, half r squared theta. But remember theta should be in radians also. Half r squared theta, only if you need to find the area of this sector. Now let's see 3 questions I think I will present here. 3 questions about circles, and I will leave 2 practice questions for you to try. Find the equation of the circle, center -1, 5, and radius square root of 130. It's so easy. You can pause the video if you like. When I say, see, the moment I say find the equation of a circle, let me go back. Find the equation of a circle, go back, until you find this one here. See this one here, this one. This is the equation of the circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal r squared. R, you have the radius. The center is h and k. These are the numbers h and k. Replace it here, then you get an equation. The equation should be in x and y. So let's go to question number 1. Now let's see the answer here. So you can imagine a circle, -1 and 5. See, this is given, right? -1 and 5 is given. So that's the center here. So this is h and the k. Okay, it can be positive, negative, in any quadrant. And r is the radius, square root of 130. So if I need the equation, this is the equation. See, I wrote the equation here. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal r squared. Any circle, this is the equation. Now let's plug in the numbers. -1, see, I put -1 in the h, but in the formula, I have a minus, so it is x plus 1 squared. Y minus k, k by itself is 5 positive, so y minus 5 squared. Square root of 130, you square it, that means you multiply square root of 130 times square root of 130, you get 130. And this is x plus 1 squared plus y minus 5 squared. That's the answer here. So what is this answer? The equation. Let's see question number 2. Given the equation, see, this is the opposite. More difficult, remember. This is more difficult. Given the equation of the circle, I gave you the whole equation, big equation. I told you this is a circle. Find the center, find the radius. See, the first one was easy, and this is not easy. I'm telling you. But you can still do it. How can you go back? You know, you have to go back. You have to go back until you write it like this. We call it standard form. You write it like this. And then from there, you can find, you can draw out the center, draw out the radius. Now, this is the question. You want to try? I can help you at the beginning. First step. See, we have 4 here, x squared, 4y squared. We need this one to be 1. 24, 32, 40. So let's divide by 4. This is equation. let's divide by 4, because when you have equal, you can divide. If you have expression, you cannot divide. In the equation, you can divide. Let's divide by 4. Make it simple. Now, after that, take the x's together, x squared to x. Take the y's together, y squared and y. And leave this number. Try to complete the square. If you know that, if you remember it from high school, complete this square. Let me show you. Now, this is the given here. See, this is the given. First, divide each term by 4. So divide by 4 here, you get squared, y squared. Divide by 4, you get 6. Divide by 4, you get 8. Divide by 4, you get 11. Take it to the other side and leave it. Now, put the x's together. After you divide by 4, you get x squared plus 6x. Then you get y squared minus 8y is equal to 11. That's the same equation, but simple form here. Now, completing the square is a big issue, big story in math. Completing the square. I'm not explaining here completing the square. You have to go to other videos on completing the square. Many questions you can find there. I can say it here very quickly. X squared plus 6x. See, this one should be 1. Take 6x, only the coefficient x, 6 here. Divide by 2, you get 3. Square it, 9. So I put here 9. On the other side, I put 9. Now, let's do the same for y. 8, minus 8 or 8. Don't care. Don't worry about that. Minus 8. Divide by 2. Minus 4. Square it. We need to square it. 16. Add 16 here, 16 here. Now, if you look here, it will be perfect. X plus 3 all squared. That's the first 3 terms by factoring. This one, y squared minus 8y plus 16. Y minus 4, because this is a minus in the middle. This will be always plus 9 plus 16. Now add these numbers. 11 plus 9 plus 16, you get 36. Now you know the story. This is the center here, minus 3, 4. And the radius, because this one is r squared, so the radius only 6. I know this question 2 is more difficult than question number 1, but you can still do it by, remember the idea, completing the square. Now let's have a look at question number 3. Find the equation of a circle with the center 3 minus 2 and tangent to the x-axis. So given the center HK, remember, and I gave you one slide about tangent to the x-axis, tangent to the y-axis, tangent to both. You can go and check. All right. Want to take a minute to do it, please? Find the equation. We need the equation. Now look here. The center 3 minus 2. You see the center now positive in the H. K is minus 2. So we can see here, it is in quadrant 4. Tangent to the x-axis. I did not give you the radius in the question, but you can find the radius. It is the absolute value of the k. This is the k here. So the absolute value of minus 2 is 2. You cannot say r is equal minus 2, which is k. Because the radius always positive number. So r is either absolute value of k, if it is tangent to the x-axis, or r equals absolute value of h, if it is tangent to the y-axis. Now, since we found r here, so just put 2 squared. See, this is from 2 here, 2 squared. Now, somebody might say, even if you put r minus 2, square it, it is positive, but that's wrong, because we cannot have r negative. You have to mention here r positive. That's why we need the absolute value. Now, this is h in the formula, x minus h squared, y minus k, when you put minus 2 becomes plus 2. So x minus 3 squared, y plus 2 squared equals 4. That is the answer, which is the equation of this circle. Now, practice number 1. Find the equation of a circle, center 5 minus 5 and radius 5. Just take the numbers and see question number 1, then you can easily find the answer. Practice number 2, I gave you a little difficult, not difficult, but similar to the question number 2 that we did. You know the idea. Given the equation, I gave you the equation. Now you have to go back and give me the center and the radius. When you go back, you have to do completing the square. Remember here, I did not put any number. You don't have to divide by something directly because this is coefficient 1, this is coefficient 1. Directly, you can go to completing the square. You can check that or you can see other videos. Now you find the answers for practice number 1 and practice number 2. Thank you for watching. I hope I can see you in another video with another topic. Thank you very much.